So this next section we're going to look at skinning technique, including using the heel risers. We get a lot of questions, people wonder really how is it to make it most efficient when you're skinning along. So we're going to look at that, and it's going to be a little different depending on you, and especially with your calf muscle, how you're put together and when you might use those lifters, which one to use, and so we'll look at all of that stuff. So when we're skinning, we want to keep the ski on the ground, on the snow, as much as possible, which means sort of sliding and scuffing it along the surface. As soon as you start lifting your ski, you're using more energy than you really need. So try and just shuffle the ski across the surface. Okay, so depending on the terrain will really dictate what kind of stride length we can make. So on the flat we generally can take quite a long stride, or at least longer, and as soon as it starts to steepen we need to keep the stride a little shorter, and that keeps the weight straight underneath us and on top of the skin. As soon as I stretch too far, I run the risk of it pushing backwards instead of pushing downwards to grip the snow. So as it gets steeper, for better skin grip, keep shorter steps. So most touring bindings will have some kind of heel lifter, which means as the slope gets steeper, you can add basically space underneath your heel so that you don't stretch your calf muscle so much and you can continue on up with much the same stride length. Some bindings will have a bar that actually comes underneath the whole binding. They're sometimes on a plate or some bars, but these ones just have a flick over, and it's quite a common feature for most bindings. So what I like to use to make it easy is the handle end of my pole, not the basket, and I'll take that down because it's nice and solid and just flick it over one or two, or whichever you want to use. Same for putting them on or off. So don't be afraid to put the heel lifters up and down. They're quite easy to change for most bindings, because if you're on the flat, even if it's a short spell, and you've got your heel risers up, it'll feel very awkward. It'll be, you sort of end up shuffling, and the back of the boot will start hitting your calf muscle, and you can't take any decent, efficient stride length. So just reach down, flick them back. You move much more efficiently across the flatter ground, and then when you come to another steeper part, you can use them if it feels good. So as you're skinning across the flat section and you get ready to start climbing more aggressively, just bring the heel lifters up. I very rarely use the top ones, but bringing up some will save the calf muscles, keep the stride length a little shorter, keep the skis sliding on the snow, and it'll be really efficient.